The bedroom was warm. Morning light came through the curtains. Taijist was already dressed. Bag on her shoulder. Keys in her hand. Moving toward the door with the energy of a woman who had made a decision and was executing it before anyone could stop her. Seo Hankyul stepped in front of the door. Arms crossed. Face calm. The face of a man who had learned that with this woman, calm was the only strategy with any chance of working. His voice was steady. I told you yesterday, you are not going alone. Taijist looked at him. The doctor said I need exercise. Going to the mall is exercise. The doctor said light exercise, Hankyul said. Not a mall. Not alone. Not days after you just left the hospital. I have been in this house for 11 days. Her voice was quiet. 11 days, she said again. And every single one of them, someone in this house has been watching me, checking on me, asking how I feel every 20 minutes. And I love you for it. I do. But Hankyul, she exhaled. I need 1 hour where I am not a patient, where I can just walk around and pick things up and put them back down and be a person. Just 1 hour. Hankyul looked at her. The way she was standing at that door, not like a woman asking permission. Like a woman who had already decided and was giving him the courtesy of a goodbye. He exhaled slowly. I love you so much, you know that. I know, she said. And it is specifically because I love you that I have been standing in front of this door for the last 4 minutes. Taijist smiled. Not a performance. Then let me go, because you love me. And I will be fine. Hankyul looked at the ceiling for 1 second. Then looked back at her. Then at least let me send someone with you. 2 people. They stay back. You will not even know they are there. Taijist's expression shifted. No. I said I want to feel normal. I will absolutely know they are there. And so will everyone else. She shook her head. For men in suits following me through a shopping mall is not normal. That is the opposite of normal. Hankyul looked at her. She looked back. The specific standoff of 2 people who knew each other completely and both knew exactly how it was going to end. He stepped away from the door. That's something like defeat in his voice. You always win. Taijist laughed. She stepped forward, took his face in both her hands and kissed him. Long, unhurried. The kind of kiss that said I know you love me and I love you and I will be back soon, all at once, without a single word. 2 hours, she said against his lips. 1, he said. She kissed him again. Then she picked up her bag and walked out the door. Hankyul stood in the empty hallway. He looked at the door she had just walked through. Something moved through him. The feeling of a man who had let someone he loved walk out without the protection he wanted to give them. He told himself it was nothing. Picked up his phone. Went back to work. Told himself it was nothing. The mall was busy. The kind of busy that felt like freedom. Taijist moved through it slowly. Not because she was tired. Because she was savoring it. The sounds. The movement. The complete indifference of strangers who did not know she had been sick and did not look at her with careful eyes. People who just moved around her the way people move around each other in a busy place. She picked things up. Put them back. Tried a sample at a food counter. Stood in front of a display for longer than she needed to, just because she could. She felt like herself again. That was the whole point. That was the only thing she had wanted. She was reaching for something on a shelf when she heard it. A laugh. Behind her. She knew it immediately. The specific quality of it. Always slightly too loud. Always meant to be heard. Always performing for whoever was standing closest. She turned slowly. Across the aisle. Kwon Daesung. With a woman beside him. Talking. Not looking at Taijist yet. Taijist turned back to the shelf. Her hands still on the item. Walk away, she thought. Just walk away. Go to a different section. Let this be nothing. She moved. Next aisle. She browsed. Picked up a bowl, turned it over, set it back. 3 minutes later. Laughter. Behind her again. She turned. Daesung. Different aisle. Still not looking at her directly. But somehow in the same space. She moved again. Home goods. Far side of the floor. 2 minutes. Laughter. She stopped moving. Stood completely still in the middle of the aisle. He is following me, she thought. He has been following me since the first aisle. He saw me before I ever saw him. She put an item in her basket. Picked up another. Put that in too. She was not going to move again. She was going to stand here and shop and be exactly who she was and give him absolutely nothing to aim at. Then the laughter came again. This time, right behind her. Right at her. She turned. Dae-sung was looking directly at her now. The woman beside him looking too. Both of them wearing the faces of people who had been building toward a moment and had decided the moment was now. Dae-sung looked at the woman beside him. You cannot believe this is my ex. But completely intentional. For the people nearby. I broke up with her because I knew from the beginning that she was never right for me. I could see it so clearly. Even when she couldn't. He looked Tae-just up and down. Slow. Deliberate. And look at her right now. Looking like a sick woman who has had a very bad year. He shook his head like he was confirming something he had always suspected. He turned to Tae-just directly. You see that I was right? Look at where you are. Look at you. Still alone. Still carrying that same energy that made you impossible to be with. He spread his hands slightly. Same behavior. Same attitude. Same woman who could never be enough for a man who had actual standards. The people nearby had gone quiet. Not obviously. The way people go quiet when something is happening and they are listening while pretending to be busy with something else. Tae just looked at him. She had been completely still through all of it. Face composed. Basket in her hand. Eyes clear and steady. Then she smiled. I know you believe everything you just said, she told him. And I also know that none of it has anything to do with me. Dae-sung's expression shifted slightly. Everything you just described, she continued. The behavior. The attitude. The impossible woman. That is not a description of me. That is a description of how you needed to see me so that leaving felt justified. She looked at him without blinking. I do not owe you an explanation. Or a defense. Or a single word, actually. She picked up an item from the shelf. Examined it. Put it in her basket. But I will tell you one thing. For free. Because I am in a very good mood today. She looked at him directly. You left me because you believed you were the best thing that was ever going to happen to me. The pause. You were wrong. Dae-sung's jaw tightened. The woman beside him went very still. You think you can stand here and talk to me like that? He said. His voice dropped low. After everything. After what I gave you. After what I put up with from you. You stand there and... I am done talking, Tae just said simply. And she turned back to the shelf. Something in his face snapped. He moved forward. His hand came out. And he pushed her. Not small. Not accidental. The push of a man who wanted her on the ground. Who needed her to feel exactly as small and worthless as he needed her to be. Tae just fell. Her basket hit the floor and everything scattered. She went sideways, one hand catching the edge of the shelf on the way down, but not enough. Her body hit the floor hard and she tried immediately to get up, and her body would not cooperate. The people around them moved at once. A mall worker. A security guard. Two women who had been standing close enough to see everything. All of them went straight to Tae-just. The security guard looked at Dae-sung, then at Tae-just still on the floor, one hand pressed to her side, face pale, struggling. He made the call in 1 second. He went to Tae-just. Can you stand? We need to get her seated. Call the medical team, now. Can you hear me? Are you all right? Tae-just tried to tell them she was fine. Her body said otherwise. The mall's medical team. Then the ambulance. Then a room with white walls and that specific smell that is the same in every hospital everywhere. Tae-just opened her eyes to a ceiling she recognized. She closed them. Then opened them again. A nurse appeared in the doorway. My phone, Tae-just said. Her voice came out smaller than she intended. I need my phone. The nurse brought it. Tae-just scrolled through her contacts. Found the name. Held the phone out. Call this, she said. When they answer, just say my name. Tell them I am in the hospital. That is all they need to hear. The nurse looked at the name on the screen. Then she looked at Tae-just. Then she dialed. He came through the hospital doors like a man who had been moving since the moment the call ended and had not slowed once. Han Kyul crossed the lobby. His eyes found the nurse who had called him before he had even reached the front desk. Where is she? Not a question. The nurse moved. He walked down the corridor behind her. past people who stepped aside without being asked, because something about the way he moved made stepping aside feel like the only reasonable thing to do. His face was composed. His steps were even. And somehow both of those things made him more alarming than if he had been running. The nurse pushed open the door to the room. Han Kyul stepped inside. Stopped. Taijust was on the bed. Eyes closed. Breathing steadily. He crossed to her in 3 steps. Sat in the chair beside her. His hand found hers. His other hand went to her face, gently, carefully, his eyes moving over her with the focus of a man who is looking for damage he is terrified to find. Then he pressed his lips to her forehead. Held them there. Eyes closed. Just breathing. Feeling her warmth against his mouth. Confirming she was there. Confirming she was real and warm and breathing. A doctor appeared at the door. Han Kyul looked up. She needs rest, the doctor said carefully. The fall aggravated her recovery. Nothing new is broken. But her body has been through stress it did not need. She should sleep for a few hours before you try to speak with her. Han Kyul looked at Taijust. Then at the doctor. I will be here, he said. The doctor left. Han Kyul sat beside his wife. Hand holding hers. He did not call anyone. Did not check his phone. Did not move. He just stayed exactly where he was. 20 minutes later, one of his men came quietly to the door. There is a woman outside, the man said in a low voice. Mall staff. She was nearby when it happened. She wants to know if your wife is all right. Han Kyul stood. He stepped outside the room and closed the door behind him. The woman was young. Mall uniform. Still visibly shaken. Her hands were clasped together in front of her like she was holding herself steady. Han Kyul looked at her. Tell me what happened. We are not completely certain of everything, she said carefully. We saw her on the floor. There was a man standing there. And then she was down and she was not getting up, and she did not look well even before she fell, so we went straight to her. A man, Han Kyul said. Yes. Describe him. She did. She told him everything she remembered. Height. What he was wearing. The woman who had been with him. What he had said before it happened. How he had moved. Han Kyul listened to every single word. Thank you, he said when she was done. He went back inside. Sat beside his wife. And waited. 5 hours later. Taijust opened her eyes. Han Kyul was in the chair beside her. In the exact same position. Like he had not moved once. She looked at him. He looked at her. Hi, she answered just as softly, hi. His voice was steady. His face was composed. Which meant, because she knew him better than she knew anyone, that he was not steady at all and said quietly. I am okay. I know, he said. I have been watching you breathe for 5 hours. She was quiet for a moment. Tell me what happened, he said. Quietly. The quiet of a man who had been sitting on that question for 5 hours and was finally asking it. Keeping everything he was feeling filed away until he had the complete picture. Taijust told him everything. Dae-sung at the mall. The way she had not realized he was following her until she had already moved twice. What he had said to the woman beside him. What he had said directly to her. What she had said back. The push. The floor. Han Kyul did not move through any of it. When she finished, neither of them spoke. Her voice broke the silence. I told you about him. When we first got together. All of it. Everything he was like. I remember, Han Kyul said. I asked if you wanted me to handle it, and you said no. That it was the past. That you had moved on and there was nothing to handle. Taijust looked at him. And now, he has put you in a hospital bed. The doctor appeared at the door. She really does need to rest now. Another few hours at minimum. Han Kyul stood up. He looked at Taijust. Then he leaned down and put his arms around her. Carefully. The way you hold someone when you are relieved they are there and furious on their behalf at the same time, and the relief is only barely winning. His face went against her hair and he held her there. I promise you, he said. Very quietly. Only for her. He will never do anything like that again. Not to you. Not to anyone. I give you my word. Taijust held on to him. She said nothing. Because some promises, you do not need to answer. You just believe them. Han Kyul went home. He called his lieutenant the moment he walked through the door. I need the security camera footage from the mall today. Every camera. Every angle. And I need a full profile on the man in the footage. Who he owes money to. Who he is trying to impress. Who matters to him. Everything. The report came the next morning. Han Kyul sat alone at his desk and went through it. Every page. Every photograph. Every detail. Then he went back to the hospital. Taijust was sitting up when he walked in. The color was back in her face. A cup of tea on the table beside her. Han Kyul sat in the chair beside her. You look better. I feel better, she said. He took her hand and kissed it once. Held it. I missed you last night. The house was very quiet. Taijust looked at him. You saw me 5 hours ago. Still quiet. His voice didn't change. Taijust laughed. The look of a man who has something to say and needs the person in front of him to be ready for it, and said quietly, I found him. Taijust went still. His name is Kwon Dae-sung. He runs a small import business. Mid-level. Working very hard to look bigger than it actually is. Han Kyul paused. The woman at the mall with him is not his girlfriend. She is a business contact he has been trying to impress. That is why the performance. That is why he needed an audience. Taijust said nothing. He goes to the same club every Friday night, Han Kyul said. Without fail. Same table. Same people. Same routine. He looked at her. When you are healthy, and only when you are healthy, I want you to come with me. Together. I want you in the room. Taijust looked at him for a long moment. What are you going to do? She asked. Give him exactly what he deserves, Han Kyul said. And let you be there to see it. Taijust was quiet. Then, the doctor said 24 more hours here. 2 weeks at home before I am cleared. Then we wait, Han Kyul said. We have time. We are in no hurry. She looked at their joined hands. Then back at his face. You are very calm about this. I am always calm, he said. That is what concerns me sometimes. He leaned forward and kissed her. Slow. Unhurried. The kind of kiss that is not making a point to anyone. Just two people, just this moment, just each other. When he pulled back, he kept his forehead resting against hers for a moment. 24 hours, and then I am taking you home. 2 weeks later. She was cleared on a Thursday. They celebrated with dinner at home. Just the two of them. Han Kyul cooked. Taijust sat on the kitchen counter and gave detailed commentary on his technique, and he told her twice to get down, and she did not, and eventually he stopped asking because he liked having her there. It was easier to admit that than to keep pretending he didn't. 2 weeks and 3 days after the hospital, they got dressed to go out. Taijust stood in front of the mirror. Han Kyul stood behind her, watching her put in her earrings. Watching her the way he always watched her when he thought she was not paying attention. She always was. Stop, she said to his reflection. Stop what? Looking at me like that? Like what? Like you are already proud of me and we have not even left the house yet. Han Kyul came forward, put his hands on her shoulders, looked at their reflection together in the glass. I am always proud of you. It is not something I have ever been able to help. Taijust looked at her own reflection for a moment. Then at his. Let's go. The club was loud and dark the way clubs are when they are built to make everyone inside feel more important than they are. They walked in together. At the entrance, Han Kyul spoke 2 words to the host. His hand at the small of Taijust's back. They were let through without a pause. Then inside they separated. Taijust went to a table on the main floor. She ordered 1 drink. Sat with it. She looked exactly like what she appeared to be, a woman out for the evening at a table by herself. For whatever reason a woman sits alone at a table in a club. Han Kyul went upstairs to the VIP section, a table close to the railing. From there he had a clear view of every table on the floor below. Every entrance. Every corner of the room. His people were already in position. He did not need to look twice to know that. They were exactly where they were supposed to be. They always were. He ordered water. He waited. Dae-sung arrived at 10:15. Exactly as the report said he would. He came through the main entrance with 2 men behind him. He moved through the room the way he moved through everything, like he had already decided he was the most interesting person there and everyone else was simply background. He got a drink. found his usual spot near the center of the floor, greeted people, laughed too loudly at something, held his glass in the way of a man performing confidence for whoever might be looking. Han Kyul watched from above. He watched Dae-sung work the room for 20 minutes. Watched the performance of a man who needed very badly to be seen by the right people. Then Dae-sung's eyes swept the room and landed on Taejist. Han Kyul saw the exact moment it happened. Dae-sung stopped mid-sentence. Recognition moved across his face. Then the smile. The same one from the mall. The same calculation behind the eyes. Sizing up an opportunity. He said something to the man beside him. The man looked. Dae-sung started moving toward her table. Han Kyul did not move yet. He watched. Dae-sung reached Taejist's table and stood over it. Taejist did not look up right away. She took a slow, unhurried sip of her drink first. Then she set the glass down. Then she looked at him. "Look at this," Dae-sung said, loud enough for the nearby tables. "Sitting alone. Different place, same picture." Taejist said nothing. "I keep finding you in the same situation," he continued. He shook his head in that slow, deliberate way he had. Performing something like concern. "I don't know. I really don't. Some people just carry themselves into the same positions no matter how much time passes." He gestured vaguely at her, at the table, at the empty seat across from her. Same energy. Same woman. Some things genuinely do not change. Taejist looked at her drink. She put it down. Slowly. Set it in the center of the coaster. "You know what?" Dae-sung crouched slightly, bringing himself closer to her eye level, dropping his voice like he was offering something generous. "I actually feel sorry for you. I mean that genuinely. I gave you something real. And you." The man came from behind him. One of Han Kyul's. The blow was clean. Dae-sung's head snapped sideways and he hit the floor before he had finished the sentence. The glass flew from his hand. The music kept playing. The lights kept moving. The DJ did not pause. Dae-sung lay on the floor, stunned, trying to understand what had just happened and from where. The people at the nearest tables stepped back. A wide, careful space opened around him. He pushed himself up on one hand, got his bearings, started pushing himself to his feet. A second man's hand grabbed his collar from behind and pulled him back to his knees. He tried to raise his head. A slap. Open-handed. Precise. The kind that is not about pain. It is about the specific experience of having your head turned by someone who has decided you need to understand something and turned it for you. Dae-sung's ears rang. A hand on the back of his head pressing it down. Holding it there. Holding him low. "Stay down," a quiet voice said beside his ear. He stayed down. Then a phone appeared in front of his face. His own face on the screen. The mall. The aisle. Taejist going down. His hand fully in the frame. Undeniable. Complete. He watched all of it. Then the quiet voice came again. "The police have a copy. Your business contacts have been notified. The woman from the mall. Her company. The people you drink with on Fridays. The investors you have been trying to reach. The partners you have been hoping to impress." The pause. Every single one of them. Dae-sung was breathing in short, hard bursts. Eyes on the floor. "If you come near her again," the voice continued. "If you look at her. If her name leaves your mouth to anyone. What happened tonight will feel like a warm memory compared to what follows." The hand released his collar. Dae-sung stayed on his knees. He was breathing hard, staring at the floor, face still stinging, ears still ringing. He had walked into this club 20 minutes ago believing he was the most important man in the room. He was now on his knees, on the floor, with a phone full of evidence in his face and people around him very deliberately not looking at him. Something moved through him. He raised his head slowly. He looked at Taejist. And the thing in his eyes now was not anger. It was not arrogance. It was not performance. His voice came out broken. "I am sorry. I am sorry. What happened at the mall? I should not have done that." He stopped. Swallowed. "I am sorry." Taejist looked at him. This man. On his knees on a club floor. Face red. Voice cracked. Saying the words that had never once come out of his mouth in the entire time she had known him. Not once. Not ever. She stood up. She picked up her bag. She looked at him for a long, unhurried moment. The kind of look you give something when you are deciding precisely how much of your time it is worth. The woman you described at the mall, she said. Sick. Alone. Carrying the same bad energy. Still not enough for a man with standards. She held his eyes steadily. I want you to look at me, right now, from exactly where you are, and understand one thing. She let the silence sit for just a second. That woman was never me. Not once. Not for a single day. Not ever. She held his gaze for one more beat. Then she turned. And she walked toward the exit. Han Kyul was already there. He had come down from the VIP section without rushing. He was simply there, at the edge of the floor, jacket on, waiting. The way he was always simply there when she needed him to be, without her ever having to ask. He held out his hand. She took it. And they walked out together. Not hurrying. Not looking back. Moving through the club the way two people move when the only thing in the room that matters to them is each other. The doors opened. They stepped outside. The city moved around them. Cool air. Traffic sounds. The muffled bass from inside already behind them and already shrinking. Han Kyul stopped walking. He turned to face her. He looked at her face in the light outside. The real light, not the club, not the hospital. Just her, standing in the open air, looking back at him. Are you all right? He asked. Yes. He looked at her for one more second. Then he pulled her in. Both arms around her. Her face against his chest. His chin on top of her head. And he held her there, in the middle of the pavement, with the city moving completely around them, completely indifferent to either of them. I should have sent the bodyguards. Tai just laughed against his chest. You should have, she agreed. There will not be a next time, because there is no next anything that involves him. He is done. He is completely finished. He does not exist. Han Kyul's arms tightened around her. No, he doesn't. She pulled back slightly. Just enough to look up at him. He looked down at her. For the record, she said. Yes. I do not regret going to that mall alone. He stared at her. Taijist. I mean it. Because now it is handled. Fully. No loose ends. No wondering what he might do next. It is completely done. She held his gaze. I will take that outcome. Han Kyul looked at her for a long moment. Then, despite everything, the corner of his mouth moved. You are the most difficult person I have ever loved in my life. You chose me, she reminded him. I chose you, he agreed, without a single second of hesitation. He kissed her. Right there, outside, in the light, with cars passing and people walking past and the city doing what cities do without caring about anyone in particular. Not for anyone watching. Not proving anything to anyone. Just two people who had chosen each other, choosing each other again. The way they did. Every day. When they pulled back, Tai just looked up at him. Take me home, she said. Han Kyul opened the car door. She got in. He closed it. Walked around to the driver's side. Got in beside her. His hand found hers before the car had pulled into traffic. And he held on. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you for being here. It means more than you know. Now let us hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us where in the world you are watching from.